tight schedule to come this evening to network with our special guest. You know it's not easy, especially to attend an event on a Monday evening and at a very short notice. So I really appreciate your time and your effort. The reason why we're here today is to network with one of our leaders and our fellow diaspora, our ex-diaspora, who is a testament that, being a diaspora, you can actually go back home, plug yourself into the system and make impact. I've known Honourable Dayo for many, many years. In fact, we attended the same secondary school in Nigeria. Although he left, he escaped. He was and then, as God will have been met again in the UK, where while he was at London Metropolitan University, I was at British University. We were both doing our things within the students' community, and our paths crossed again. And ever since then, we've been working together. And he's someone that I hold in very high esteem. He's someone that, I always hear this thing where they say leaders are not born. He is a born leader. I can say that for a fact. I've worked closely with him, and also one thing I know about him is that the hand of God is upon his life. The grace of God. There's nothing anyone can tell me. I've worked with this man, and I've seen his faith. He's even made me closer to God. I also believe in what they call faith. There's been instances, for example, there was an instance where we had an event. I always say everywhere. We had an event and we did everything we could. As young guys, we brought in world leaders. President Obasanjo was at that event. We had brought him, flown him down, paid for his hotel, everything. And then one of the sponsors that was meant to cover the venue cost at the last minute, something happened within that organization and they couldn't pay. And bringing someone like President Obasanjo down, and other world leaders, and like about 20 minutes to the event, the venue, the hotel, the venue said, oh, they won't open it if you don't pay. I think we had about £10,000 to pay within 20 minutes. I think me and already lost hope. I said, happy to be out, about the room. I said, but this man was telling me that this thing will happen. My faith had caught. I was like, this guy is telling me that this thing will happen. He said, God will do it. I said, okay. And God will happen. Next thing, there was somebody there, also one of the guests. I don't know what he responded to the man. And he spoke to the man. Within 5-10 minutes, the man brought out the black car.
Wow.
£10,000 sorted. That day I was like this throughout. And the event happened, everything was successful. And to be honest, that was what I wanted to bring up, the faith. He had the faith that this thing will happen. God, and he's a prayerful guy. So I saw, like I said, I've worked closely with him. So things like that were the things I looked at and said, this man, I will follow him. No matter what some people tell me, I know him personally, professionally, and he's an upright man. So I think it's a privilege for us to have him here today. We could have done this on Zoom or online, but because he's around, it's also good for us to interact with him one-on-one. And apart from being the newly appointed chairman of the FMC in Abeokuta, there are also other opportunities that he can speak to us about. I personally have spoken to him about certain opportunities and which he wants young people to tap into, and I would want him to also speak to us about those opportunities. So without saying too much, I'll give the floor to our special guest, Dr. Honourable Chief. We have so many titles. In fact, during the campaign, every town or city we went to, they were giving the titles, so I can't remember. If I said I could read everything, I won't be able to, finish tonight. So I'm going to do that as well. And also, little housekeeping, in case you hear that, that's the Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. Let me crave your indulgence and sit down because this is a family meeting. I'm very honored to be with everybody tonight. In particular because I'm one of you. I see people that I've known forever in this room. I see people that I knew from, even when I was in my foundations at London Met. People I know from when I was in my first degree over 20 something years ago. I see those that we have come through sunshine and rain. I was just seeing more talks. Hey, Uncle Tunde, over there, I was telling Baroness Ariel that this were the cluster of our people here in London from back in the days, the 2002, 2003, 2004 Nigerian community in the UK. At that time, the reigning place wasn't it? It was Ballingesia in Dalston. Yeah. And then you had on saying, may God bless his God.
That's right.
Dayo, and all of that. Philip Sound Image. That time there was no YouTube.
At all, nothing like that.
Films at Sound Image in Westmoreland. If I'm correct.
Yeah. Nothing like YouTube.
And to the glory of God, the world has evolved. And I had the privilege of spending some part of my teenage years here, and then growing up afterwards and going back home. And I think with all sense of humility, I can say I'm an example of a diaspora who has gone back home to make a difference. Yeah. And that's why I'm not against the brain drain. How do they call it? People coming here. Let me not call it brain drain. People coming to the diaspora to come and seek for better experience, because you get the exposure. You get to see things from a different point of view. You get to see things from a very high. This country has endured for over 300, 400 years. And so there are a lot of things that you will see here that we can take back home to our mother Africa to be able to help to develop a place. And because the important thing is that many of us who are here seek, like Nehemiah, for a home that we can return to. We just need those who are going to go ahead of us and pave the way to create a better environment for us. And it is with that sense of responsibility that I took the appointment that Mr. President gave to me, to the glory of God, in January of this year, the 9th of January, to serve as the chairman of the Board of Governors, which is called the Board of Management of the Federal Medical Center, Abeokuta. And I do not take it for granted. I feel it's, like Tony Blair, former Prime Minister, said, I feel a hand of history upon my shoulder. And that's why I am honored to be here in your midst tonight as a, let me indulge myself and call myself a member of the Kasogi. I think but I'll also take the liberty to call myself an associate member of Abeokuta. Okay, we have Honourable UK, yeah, because my maternal grandmother is from Ijebu, she's Ijebu, so I think that I can also, I'm an Ogun person by extension. My father is from Lagos, and my mother's mother is from Ijebu, so I think I swing on both sides. And so I'm honored to be here, because they say you cannot enter a strong man's house without first binding the strong man. And so, for me, I take stakeholders' engagement as very important. Let me begin first by thanking Prince and Yemi for helping to put this together, and also the support from Baroness that we're able to gather here. Where is Prince? I saw him. Sorry. And I want to thank all of you who have come tonight, even at short notice. This was only announced yesterday evening, and they were all here. For those who have not met me, my name is Dayo Israel. I happen to be the national youth leader of the ruling party the All Progressive Congress, the largest political party in sub-Saharan Africa. Love us or hate us, but they will be fighting. I also am privileged by the grace of God and what affects our gathering here tonight to be the chairperson of the largest federal medical center. There are different categories of institutions. There are college hospitals like UCH in Ibadan. There are teaching hospitals and the federal medical center. And arguably, the federal medical center Abeokuta is arguably the biggest federal medical center in the whole of Nigeria, and also serves not just the people of the state, but also the people of nearby Benin Republic and other communities who all come and access our healthcare services. And what is very important is that that institution plays a lot of role for a lot of people. Many of you have families, loved ones who receive healthcare facility from that. They're back home. I get phone calls since I became the chairman. Somebody called from Canada. They have a father who is in that hospital receiving treatment. They just need me to help them check. Oh, one person's uncle is there, and all of that. And we know that there are two basic important things in life: health and wealth. And so, when we talk of wealth, FMC is also the only federal tertiary health institution in Ogun State, and it does a lot, and there's been a lot of federal government investment in that institution. But there's a lot more that we can do, and because of the gaps that we have not been able to fill, we have a lot of competitions from organizations like the Babcock Teaching Specialist Hospital and all of that, which also have their financial impact on the cost of the citizens. But we as a government have the primary responsibility to ensure that we can provide a quality healthcare services. And when we don't take that responsibility, we realize that we give others that chance, and we also give our citizens a challenge in accessing healthcare. And there was a scenario that happened recently, and that person had gone to this particular medical center, and interestingly, they mentioned that they knew me. It wasn't our own medical center, but because they mentioned my name, that I was the chairman of the sister center in Abeokuta. The head of clinical services walked down to see the patient and asked to see the report from the patient. And when they saw the report, they had actually said they were going to amputate that particular patient before. But when they saw the report, they said there was no need to amputate that patient. There was no need at all. But because they didn't want to take the long journey to get the right equipment, right testing done, right treatment done, they wanted a fast and shortcut approach, and they decided that we were going to amputate the elderly woman. And thank God that there was intervention, and that is now being, she's now being properly attended to. Healthcare is very important. The only challenge is that despite the investment that government has put into our healthcare is not where it's meant to be. And it's something that is of order to people like myself and my colleagues who have just been appointed as chairperson of boards. I want to say it was so very important for us. We went around the country to tell Nigerians to vote for our party and to vote for our President Tinubu. So if issues relating to as important as healthcare we cannot do well, then we will not have the boldness to go back to Nigerians to vote for us. And the reality is this: the president has invested so much. The healthcare budget of this year swallows the healthcare budget of the last 8 years at once. The investment that the Tinubu administration has invested into healthcare in the trillions is an alarm. Now, if we don't ensure that there's proper probity and there's also proper oversight, and that the community takes ownership of the healthcare as well, we will not see the impact. We would only blame the president, but the president has done his own part to appropriate. And that is why, for example, we at our board at the FMC Abeokuta decided to work strongly with all the various stakeholders, both local and international, both external and internal, to share with you our vision for the center. and see how we can work together collectively, and that the people of Ogun State, both at home and the diaspora, can take ownership of this institution as their own. And we must thank His Royal Majesty, or Majesties, all the various obas in Abeokuta, in Baland in particular, the Alake, the Chiyo, the Kionos, the Lowoods, even Chief Obasanjo, they hold FMC Abeokuta in very high esteem. They don't joke with them. Because you have your cousins who can't afford to go to that club, but they can afford to come to FMC. And the reality is that we can build a world-class institution in FMC. And that's what we want it to be. We want it to become a medical center of excellence. We want FMC Abeokuta to become an institution that people will come to, from all over the world, to come and access healthcare. With all the money that President Tinubu is allocating into healthcare. For example, in FMC Abeokuta, we have CT scan machines. We have 64 slides. We have in our budget, we will get acquiring a 165 slide CT scan machine. We're acquiring MRI machines. We already performed open heart surgery. Of course, some successful, some not very successful. We have a telemedicine hall in our center where we can also attend to people. We've completed the building infrastructure. We will go to the next phase in terms of staffing and operationalizing of that telemedicine facility. Governor Mosun, former Governor Mosun, just gave us 180 bed facility inside our center. And a lot of things. When I got there, I realized that we could do better in terms of infrastructure. The A&E was an eyesore, and many of the facilities. And we sat down with the management, and they also understood. It was an issue for all of us to say how can we, begin to make this place better. And thankfully, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, with his support, we are going to be building a brand new asset and emergency building at FMC Abeokuta. We're building a brand new general outpatient department, an NHI building in FMC Abeokuta this year, by the grace of God. We're also going to be building a brand new surgical and medical clinic at FMC Abeokuta this year. And it's doing the same across the country. Some teaching hospitals of federal health institutions are even getting mother and child centers. We have a maternity that we are completing. The maternity alone is over 100 beds. We're also going to be introducing a fertility center. We also have an ICU, a brand new ICU at FMC Abeokuta. So we have some equipment. Right now we have staff, about 4,000 staff working in the FMC. About 250 of them are consultants. There are about 250 consultants. We also have a lot of nurses, over 400 nurses. We have resident doctors and a lot of infrastructural projects are going to be happening this year in particular. We want to really renew the Diaspora Center. Interestingly, the President, Buhari, the former president, signed the Federal University of Medicine and Medical Science into law. President Tinubu last week or 2 weeks ago appointed a new vice chancellor for that new university, which will be taking up very soon. They already also have their management in place, and we, by the grace of God, will become the teaching hospital of that Federal University of Medicine and Medical Science. So we're going to be upgraded from a federal medical center to a federal teaching hospital. And with that as well, we're going to be receiving students, we're going to be moving to a new site. So Diaspora will become our next campus, and we will now be moving into a new permanent site in Abeokuta Road. Part of what we're discussing at our board meeting next week is how we should begin to work with the management of the university to take possession of our own part of the 170 hectares that former Senator, former Governor Musun donated for the institution. but that comes with our upgrading from the Federal Medical Center to a teaching hospital. So those are the realities. We will do our best from government allocations, but the reality also is that the government allocations are not, because there are many institutions across Nigeria, but there's a lot that government is already investing. And the Diaspora also have a role. We have a doctor who is donating for us a stroke building, a massive stroke building on behalf of his family. He's a Nigerian based in Canada, and he's from Abeokuta, the state. And his parents both had stroke, both his mom and his dad, and they didn't have access to quality care, in Nigeria at that time. And so he wants to build and furnish a stroke building to us. We already started clearing the lands, and right now we're co-locating it to the new buildings that we're building, so that the stroke building is not far from the medical and surgical wards, our internal medicine department, and also the A&E and the GOD, so that the services are co-located around each other for efficiency and effectiveness. The nurses don't have to walk very far from one building to the other and all that. So there's a lot of reform that our board wants to introduce. Also,